Peace, Black family. So I just want to tap in right quick and kind of want to touch on a subject that most of us may not be familiar with that creates a lot of confusion within our community, and that is the idea of nationality, race, and ethnicity. A lot of us are very confused about nationality, and we're also confused about racial identity and how they play a part, in our society, especially in the Caribbean, right? A lot of times in the Caribbean, you get people that say things like, "Oh, well, they're a Chinese Jamaican," right? Or they're, they're a white Haitian, and sometimes because of the system of white supremacy and because we're so confused about what race, nationality, and ethnicity means, we actually accept those people as actually being a part of us. And that is not true. Jamaican people haven't brought anything to the, Asians born in Jamaica haven't brought anything to the Jamaican culture. The Jamaican culture is an African culture, okay? Same thing in Trinidad. The East Indian people, the only thing they probably brought to Trinidad was some spices, okay? White Haitians haven't brought anything to the Haitian culture but misery. When we look at all these cultures, they are predominantly African cultures, okay? And those other people just came there and were born on those land masses and have adopted the culture. But a lot of times we don't understand the difference. Like, we think in the Caribbean most times, oh, well, the person was born in Haiti, even though they're white, so they're black like me, like they're Haitian like me, like they speak the same language like me. And that's not true. And this also takes place in Latin America as well, where black Hispanics, they get confused by their nationality, and because they speak the same language the white person, they think that they're ultimately the same. And this is what makes people real big coons. When you speak the same language as a person, right, you begin to see like a brothership. Oh, well, man, we speak the same language. Oh, man, we must be related. Oh, you're black, or I'm a part of you and you're a part of me. Same thing in America. Most Africans in America, they speak English. These crackers here speak English, and so they think, oh, well, we American. We both American. It is not the same. We might share the same nationality, right? You may have adopted my culture, right, or stole my culture, right? But racially, we are not the same. I don't care if a white person was born in Haiti for 5 generations now. They are not African. They are not Haitian. I don't care what you say. They haven't brought anything to the Haitian culture but misery. Asian Jamaicans, these Chinese Jamaicans, same thing. All they do is come and plunder and take and steal and imperialize Jamaica, Trinidad with the East Indians. The same thing. They come there, they create their own little cultural cliques, and they do everything like we have to understand. These people may be born in the same country as you, but their whole ultimate agenda is to still oppress you. There isn't any place in the world, South America, North America, the African continent, anywhere in the world where you see Africans living in harmony with non-Africans. Go to Trinidad, it's nothing but division. Go to Haiti, all the mulattoes, mixed race, white people, they all living in luxury. They all living away from the black people, or they got the black people working for them as maids, okay? Because they understand their nationality has nothing to do with their racial identity, right? Race is, and there's 2 ways you can identify race, as being African or being black, right? Race is your number one identifier. It doesn't matter what nationality you was born in. You can look at a black person and you can't tell if they were born in Jamaica. You can't tell if they were born in Canada unless they open their mouth or something that they're wearing that identifies them as such. But your race is always your number one identifier. That's the main thing we should always be about. This red, black, and green. Race first. Because every other culture is thinking race first. But because we're so confused about nationality and ethnicity, we put those things first. Oh, I'm Haitian. And even and I'm closer to a white Haitian than I am to a Jamaican or to a such and such, because we speak the same language. This is how we think. This is how we think in our mind. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm closer to a white person in America because we go back to slavery and we speak the same language and we're a part of, it's very crazy. This nationalistic view that we take. And this is why Garvey said it is about race first. This is why Peter Tosh said, no matter where you're born at, you're an African. No matter where you are born at, you're an African. Doesn't matter if you're born in Colombia. But again, because we speak the same language with these oppressors, because language is an identifier. Language works in your mind. Language formulates your brain. We never think about this. Language formulates your brain and how you see the world, how you identify through the world, right? This is why Malcolm X said he studied language and it was able to open his mind. He started studying words. The words became his life, and his life was changed through those words. This is why in the Bible, even though I don't believe in the Bible, this is why in the Bible it says in the beginning there was the Word, and the Word was the beginning. So before anything existed, the Word existed. Because whoever wrote the Bible, for whatever specific reason, they understood that words have power. And so because we speak the same language with our oppressors, we identify with our oppressors. Black Americans identify with white Americans. Haitians identify with white Haitians. Jamaicans identify with the Asians, and et cetera, et cetera. And we connect to these people. But the first thing we should always put first is our race. Our race before anything, right? Our race is that we are African, that we are black. That becomes before your nationality. That's why I can't deal with some people who be so nationalistic. I'm from such and such. It's cool to be proud of your race. I mean, it's cool to be proud of your nationality and the things you've done. But the things you've done in your nationality was done from a racial standpoint. That's one of the biggest things we miss. The things my ancestors done in Haiti was done out of race, because they were being oppressed through slavery by the French, by the Spanish. The things the Black Americans did in America was done out of race, out of achievement for their race, being oppressed by white people, the civil rights, etc., etc. Don't get so nationalistic where you can't see that your race should always come first. See, other people don't think like that. This is why Asians can come to Jamaica and dominate the Jamaicans when they are the minority in that country, where they building highways and all this type, because they haven't lost sight of what it is. And you talk to some of our people, they be so ignorant to this. They be so blind to this. Oh, they Jamaican just like me. Look, they speak patois like me. Oh my gosh. And this is the game they run on us. And they consistently have been running on us. Oh, he Haitian like me. Look, he eat this like me. And how many mulattoes did you see when the earthquake happened in Haiti in the early 2000s? How many mulattoes did you see in the rubble? How many mulattoes did you see begging for food? How many mulattoes did you see in those tent communities? But you holding on to them as a part of your culture. They like us. They like us. We related. We get out of here. No. Race first. This is why you're not going nowhere in your with your nationalistic mentality. This is why we're not going anywhere, because we haven't realized that race first, black first, African first. You go to Africa, same thing. People arguing over ethnicity. Now, see, this is where it gets different. In the Caribbean and in certain parts of America, we arguing over nationality and whatever the case may be. In the Caribbean, in the continent, they arguing over ethnicity. Oh, I'm Yoruba, you Igbo. Oh, I'm Zulu, you Xhosa. Race first. This is why Garvey said no matter where we are, it should be race first. So right after apartheid ended in South Africa, guess what? The Zulus start fighting with other tribes. Right after the white man took his foot off your neck a little bit, y'all begin to start fighting over ethnicity. Instead of putting race first, Hutus and Tutsis. Belgium came in, gave y'all these identities, separated y'all, said you Hutu, you Tutsi, such and such. Now y'all fighting. Forgot that race first. Everything we gotta do, gotta be race first. So let me break this down before I get out of here. Your nationality is what nation that you are born in, right? Which don't mean nothing upon nothing, to be honest with you. I'm just being real with you. Nationality can be changed overnight. It can be changed overnight. One day, Ghana could be Dahomey or whatever. Excuse me. One day Benin could be Dahomey. The next minute is changed. The nationalities that we classify ourselves as today are made up. This is why nationality doesn't mean anything. Nationality is, even if you look at and I dare y'all to go look at this. Even if you go look at your passport, your American passport, it tells you that if you travel outside the country, they have the right to lock you behind out of the United States, which means you now lost your nationality. You are not a United States citizen anymore. Nationality doesn't mean anything. It's BS. It can be made up. It can be changed. Countries rise, they fall. The names change. They create new nationalities. You know, look, when you go to Haiti, Haiti's called Haiti, right? Which they have a lot of different definitions of what it means to be a Haitian or Haiti, right? But that's an ancient name, right? And what they say, they have a few different names, but one of the names that they say it believes it means is land of mountains. That's what they say, right? So are you a land of mountains? No, because Haiti, Haitian, being Haitian was a new ethnicity that was created when we were brought to Haiti. You were not that prior to 17 something. You were an African, okay? When you go to Puerto Rico, rich means rich port. That's what it really means, rich port. So when you say I'm Puerto Rican, are you a rich port? I don't think you are a rich port. Are you a rich port? No, I think you're an African, but you're identifying as a Puerto Rican. Or like some of the Negroes say, I'm a Nigerican. How self-hating you got to be to call yourself a Nigerican? Oh, I'm a Nigerican. Anyway, Cameroon. When you go look at what Cameroon means, Cameroon actually means shrimp. It actually means shrimp. So are you a shrimp? like come on, like Nigeria. When we look at these names and we look at these so-called nationalities, they're nothing. They're nothing. They're made up. They used to be called something else before. They changed the name. How many times has Congo changed? It was called Zaire. It was called Congo. It was called Congo Republic. It was called this and that. Like, these things are nothing. They're European fantasies made up to have you attached to them. That's why if you think that's what you are, if you think that you are a Haitian, if that's what you think you are, then you're going to act like a monstrosity. You're going to act like how the European wants you to act. See, I understand I'm African first. That's what Dessalines said. Dessalines said, it doesn't matter if my mama was born in Africa, my daddy was born in Africa. If I was born here in Saint-Domingue, I'm still African. That's what Dessalines said. I'm still African. It doesn't matter if I was born in Saint-Domingue or not. I'm still African. So when we begin to accept those nationalities and put them above our racial identity, which is being African, that's where we always fail. We always fail there. Always. Because we allow people to what? Infiltrate us. We allow people to take advantage of us. All right? So, boom, that's nationality. Nationality is what nation you're born in, which doesn't mean anything. Ethnicity means that your cultural connection to the region you're born in, right? Like, for example, going back to Yoruba people. You get what I'm saying? Going back to Igbo people, right? Those are basically ethnicities. But at the end of the day, they're still the same race. They're still black. But they haven't learned that yet. They still want to argue about their difference in the small differences in their culture. So the European uses all of this to manipulate, to have us war against each other. It's straight Willie Lynch syndrome. We have to stop looking at white Haitians as our brothers and sisters, mulattoes as our brothers and sisters. They're not. Asians as our brothers. They're not. It doesn't matter what nation they were born in. They're still your enemy. They are still your enemy. Get that through your mind. Doesn't matter if they were born in Jamaica. Doesn't matter if they were born in Haiti. Doesn't matter if they were born in Trinidad. Doesn't matter if they were born in Guantanamo. They are still your enemy. And I get it, because language is an identifier. Language is a connection to a people. So what happens is, because we speak the same language as these people, we look at them as brothers and sisters. Oh my gosh, they speak Creole like me, so we the same. No, you're not. You are not the same as that person. This person is a Asian that speaks patois. They learned your language. When you look at Jamaican culture, when you look at Haitian culture, when you look at Trinidadian culture, all these cultures, they are African cultures that other people came there and exploited and learned. They didn't bring nothing to the culture. The only thing East Indians probably brought to Trinidad is spices. That's probably it. The rest of the culture is African. All right? Jamaica, same thing. Haiti, same thing. Bahamas, same thing. Cuba, same thing. But we get caught up on our nationalities, especially in Latin America. We get caught up. Oh, a black person that speaks Spanish, they be big time caught up on that. Oh, because they speak Spanish like me, they're my brothers. You see that in black Cubans. Black Cubans think that, oh, this is my brother. He speaks Spanish like me. Oh, Cubano. No. And they treat y'all like crap. In Colombia, in Venezuela, same thing. Because y'all speak the same language, y'all think y'all the same. No, you got to put your race first. Brazil, same thing. And look how they treat us in Brazil. Race first. We cannot keep getting caught up on nationality or ethnicity, because that's how they always win. They always win that way. They're going to use that against you. And I understand language is an identifier. We identify with the language that we speak, and therefore we identify with the people who speak that same language. Same thing like African Americans. They speak English, so they connect with these Yorugus over here. But it's race first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. Always race first. That's what these colors mean. Okay? And one thing else I want to stamp out before I get out of here, I want to say mixed race people are not African. They are not African. We got to stop saying it. It is disrespectful when we say that mixed race people are of us or they are us. I am not the same genetically as Barack Obama. Okay, I did not come from the legs of a white woman. White women cannot make African children. Only African can make African children. That's just it. Only a black man and black woman can have an African child. Anything other than that is just something other than that. I'm sorry. I hate to say that, but it's the truth. We have to stop trying to force mixed race people to be black and African. They're not. They can be socially black, meaning someone can look at them and say, oh, they look black, like a Barack Obama, but they're not black. They are not black. And I don't want to hear anything about somebody saying, oh, well, my great-great-grandma was white or my great-great-grandfather was white. Well, you black now, Negro, so shut up. Why are you worrying about the rape that took place back then when you black now? When we know what happens is the genetics of black people mixing and mixing and mixing actually wiped out that white blood. And so it doesn't even exist in you anymore, but you're still claiming it because you're so brainwashed. We got to stop that. Stop claiming white people back in your past that you want to be connected to. Because I guarantee they won't think about you. They don't care about you. They was getting a freak on with one of your ancestors. Okay? Mentally, physically, however they did it. So we got to stop that too. Mixed race people are not African. And if you do have a great-great-grandma that was white, you are not mixed race right now. Okay? It doesn't matter. I don't want to hear anything about, well, we all mixed. No, we not. Some of us washed out that white blood after generations of marrying back black. The same way that white people can wash out our black blood, right? Muhammad Ali's grandchildren. It can happen. We can wipe them out genetically, and they can wipe us out genetically. Y'all got to stop thinking, oh, black is the ultimate. No, black can be wiped out too, okay? Look at Ronald Rasley, the NMA woman. Her great-great-grandfather was black, but you can't even tell that. So we got to stop thinking, oh, just black is dominant. Black can be wiped out too. And so can white. So with that being said, man, just so much ignorance and not knowing in our community. I just want to touch in on that right quick. Ethnicity, race, and nationality, and make that clarification on that. And also I want to touch on and say that African people are only African because you got a black mother and a black father. Anything else is not African. That is just what it is. I'm sorry to tell you that. Or let's say, for example, and this is another deep conversation. Let's say, for example, you have, anyway, we'll leave it right there. Until next time, family, think black, stay black, love black, support black. That's real African black power. I'm out.